Hello, I'm Christine, and today I'm bringing you my first ever challenge accepted book haul.
What's that?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
It means that I'm going to be doing a weird challenge whilst filming this book haul.
We're spicing it up.
And today's weird challenge is
every book must be hauled in a new location. That camera angle has to change.
Jump right into things. As always, I'm gonna start off with our BOOKSPLOSION Book of the Month. And our Book of the Month for November is Shadow of the Fox by KAGAWA. This month we're working with Harlequin. In this world, every 1,000 years, this dragon comes up and grants a wish to whomever possesses the Scroll of 1,000 Prayers. And I'm assuming the Scroll of 1,000 Prayers is rather elusive. And 1,000 years ago, the last person who had it made a stupid wish that led the world into darkness and chaos. So now 1,000 years has passed, it's time for someone else to get a shot at it, maybe make things better. Enter our two leads, the first of which is like half human, half kitsune, which just got me so excited because I've learned a little bit about kitsunes from Teen Wolf. They were awesome, so I'm excited to learn more in Shadow of the Fox. I just got the audiobook, so I'm starting it up. This is such a badass cover. The next book I have to show you today was sent to me as part of a paid promotion with Disney Book Group, and that is Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this book has been pitched as Gilmore Girls meets Pretty Little Liars. I am a huge fan of Gilmore Girls. It's about a girl who was raised by her single mom, and she lets herself be bribed by her grandmother to become a debutante. And she does this with a secret motive. She doesn't know who her father is, and she really wants to crack that mystery, so she becomes a debutante. She steps into this wealthy society life. E. Lockhart calls it a comedy of manners and a blackmail thriller tied together in a perfect silk bow. This whole concept is giving me hardcore Rebel Belle vibes, which I love. There's a Rachel Hawkins blurb on the back. Leave it to Jennifer Lynn Barnes to write a book that features two of my favorite things, big dresses and even bigger secrets. Naked, we're looking at, ooh, some nice hot pink writing and some nice hot pink wallpaper on the inside. The next book I have to show you today is one that I got in the mail unexpectedly, and that is an arc of Kiersten White's new book, Slayer. So Slayer is kind of Kiersten White's take on Buffy, I believe. Like, it's not Buffy, but it's like her own version of a Buffy-like story. Honestly, I haven't even watched Buffy, but I love Kiersten White's books. So I am super excited to get this in the mail. I just finished The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, and it was such a creep-tastic Halloween read. This is an arc, but Slayer is coming out January 2019. The next book I have to show you today is the December BOOKSPLOSION Book of the Month, and that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. In December, we're working with Random House. If you haven't heard of Brandon Sanderson, you're missing out on amazing fantasy books. We had Mistborn as our Book of the Month back in 2015, January of 2015, I believe, and it was so good. It was so good. So I believe this book has more of a sci-fi tone to it. Our lead character's world has been under attack for ages, and pilots have become like the heroes of the remnants of the human race. And it's always been our lead's dream to be a pilot herself and to like prove her bravery and stuff. She already sounds like a Gryffindor. And her fate is tied to her father's, who was also a pilot, who died years ago when he abruptly like abandoned his team, and he was named a coward, which also, you know, fuels our lead's character's need to prove her bravery, because she's been prematurely labeled as the daughter of this coward. And I guess this label has had a huge effect on her life and have really slimmed her chances of getting into flight school, but she's super determined to become a pilot anyway. And this is her journey. It's big, it's beautiful, it's purple. I can't wait to read it. The next book I have to show you today is Mafi's new release, A Very Large Expanse of Sea. I already read this back when I got the arc right after BEA and loved it. It's a story that's really close to Mafi's life. It's about a Muslim girl in high school just trying to live her life in a post 9/11 world, and it's fantastic. And I love the romance, and there's breakdancing. I love this cover. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful. Ooh, the naked spine is gorgeous. I love this. The next books I have to share with you today are two that I got in the mail together. The paperback copy of Vicious by V.E. SCHWAB, which I've been meaning to read literally for years. Look at that baby. This looks a badass. And the newly released sequel to Vicious, Vengeful. I have to read this book. The next book I have to show you this month was sent to me by Random House, and that is Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. Otherworld is the sequel to one of our 2017 BOOKSPLOSION books of the month, Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. I don't know if you were there and read it with us, but it's about this super sketchy company who created this video game that everyone uses. It's virtual reality. People have gloves and goggles and all sorts of things so that they can be completely engrossed in the game, but they have an update to the game that's just in beta right now. There's a disc that attaches to the back of your neck, and our lead gets involved with this company, and he gets this new technology and tries it out, and he finds himself stuck in the game where he can feel everything. So if anything happens in the game, he feels it, and in the real world, his body is just like lying on a bed, and it has to do all its natural body things to live, and he needs to complete the game to be able to exit it. I don't know if you know Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother. He plays Marshall. He does the audiobook, and I listened to that for Otherworld, and it was fabulous. So I definitely plan on listening to the audiobook for this one as well. Moving right along, the next book I have to show you today was sent to me by Wednesday Books, and that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. Everyone has been talking about how amazing this book is on Twitter, and it's like a thriller. I think Sadie is missing and her best friend's trying to find her. And I love a good thriller. I love how subtly creepy this cover is. Stephanie Perkins calls it an electrifying high-stakes road trip, a gripping thriller with a true crime podcast edge. Little Monsters was my last really great thriller that I read. It feels like Sadie's gonna be the next. Oh my gosh, I have a signed copy! That's exciting. The next book I have to share with you today was sent to me in the mail by Penguin, and that is the hardcover copy of Map of Days by Ransom. This is the fourth book in the Peculiar trilogy. It's no longer a trilogy. The Peculiar kids are going to America. It's the biggest Peculiar book yet. I still have to finish the Peculiar trilogy because I still have Library of Souls left. But the first two were great. I really just love how Ransom takes all these old creepy photographs and weaves them into the story. Like, you're just so confused. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? But you know the photo had to be there first. It's so cool. Stylistically, oh my god, these are just gorgeous. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Damn. Ah. Oh! The next book I have to share with you today was sent to me by Random House, Someday by David Levithan. A lot of you have probably heard of or already read Every Day by David Levithan. It was adapted into a movie. It's about a person who wakes up in a different body every single day. So they experience all of these different lives, and they never know who they're going to be when they wake up in the morning. It's a story about love and humanity and their ability to adapt and empathize. And this new book, Someday, is the sequel to Every Day, which I didn't even know it was getting a sequel. Contemporary novels that span more than one book are always like my favorite. You get to stay with these characters that you've grown to love for a little bit longer, and it feels so good. Whoa, look at the wallpaper. Next, only 2 books left. The second to last book I have to show you today is one that I'm super excited about, and that is Dry by NEAL Schusterman. If you've been here all year, you probably remember I read Sight at the beginning of this year, and it was amazing. And the audiobook was the best thing ever. I also read Thunderhead, the second book in the Sight series, which was amazing, and I can't wait for the third book. This is Dry, which he co-wrote with his son, JARROD Schusterman, and it takes place, I think, in a place where there is no water. And we go from there on what happens to humanity and the world when we are in desperate need of Wawa. Not a Wawa, like a Wawa in New Jersey, like Wawa, like water. Everyone's going to remember where they were when the taps went dry. The concepts for all of NEAL Schusterman's books just hit you so hard, like, oh shit, what would happen? That's horrifying, but fascinating, and I need to find out how it would go down. The last book I have to share with you today is a super exciting one that I got in the mail. An arc of my favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren, which comes on sale December 4th, so super soon. If you've never read Christina Lauren before, they write hilarious, heartwarming, happy-making rom-coms that you can just eat up in your time of rom-com need. My personal favorite thus far is Roomies. I'm really pumped for this one because it is a rom-com about online dating, which I find to be a hilarious, super fun subject to play around with. I don't really want to know more than that because, like every book I read, I don't like to know much, but especially with rom-coms because like it ruins the comedy if you dig too far into what it's about. I'm planning on reading this during my holiday break and having the best time. That is it for my first challenge accepted book haul. If you have a challenge in mind that you'd like me to attempt for my next book haul, please feel free to leave it in the comments. My name's Christine. I make videos every Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye!